Big thank you to EA for being the sponsors of today's video.
These ketchup bottles be making the weirdest sounds, I swear. Like, just listen to this.
Join me in the shadows.
Yes people, how are we all doing? It's Ashton here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. It's been a long time since I've said that, huh? It has. Anyway, today we're going to be talking to an amazing Apex ranked player. This guy has reached #1 Predator on Xbox 3 times, and for those of you who aren't impressed with console ranked, well don't worry, because this guy has moved over to PC and is now in the top 5 race in PC. He's currently sitting in 5th. Of course, I am talking about the amazing Awesome Tryhard. If you don't know Tryhard already, he does stream over on Twitch and his link is in the pinned comment. I highly recommend you go and check out Awesome Tryhard. I'm often in his streams just chilling. He's such a nice guy, cracked Apex player, and the vibes are just amazing. So today, we're talking to him about all things ranked and Apex in general, and just getting a little bit of insight about the opinions of a former #1 Apex Predator and current top 5 Apex Predator on PC. You guys don't want to miss this. I hope you enjoy. So I'm really appreciative of you coming on the channel. It's really great to have someone on who's like so knowledgeable about ranked, and obviously you play it quite a lot, and you're clearly very good. I'm really happy that you were able to switch from Xbox to PC and maintain such a high pred ranking. Would you say there are any like sort of main differences between Xbox or PC? Were there anything that surprised you when you made the switch?
The main difference is, like, immediately when I swapped to PC, they beam so much harder on here. Like, I know everybody talks about aim assist, but like these mouse and key people are crazy.
Yeah, at long range especially.
Aside from that though, the aggression on PC players is way different. Like there's so many like countless fights on console where people get knocked and like neither team will push and stuff, and it just becomes like really clustered with like 5 team scenarios not fighting. On PC, you get cracked and a team will full send. Like, that happens like majority of the time. Like, it's way more aggressive.
The way they want to get you killed quicker, they want to take your position, loot you up.
They know how important it is about like getting a fight over quick.
Yeah, I would say from my experience on PC too, the fighting seems to happen right at the start of the game and then right at the end. In the middle, it's kind of a long period of the teams who survive the drop just rotating. But I definitely tend to agree on PC. It seems to be way more aggressive than on console. Would you say you prefer the PC playstyle more, or would you say you're more acclimatized to console rank? Because I know you were on console for a lot longer.
Yeah, that's a tough question, because like I definitely love the like aggressive fighting on here, but at the same time I kind of miss the really tight end games that like felt kind of like scrims with like 30 people on like round 3 and 4 kind of stuff. 100%.
It was always fun having so many teams trying to push it out, survive to the last minute. On PC, I feel like they take more risks. Definitely go in for those risky fights more. So like regarding Octane, obviously you've hit #1 pred 3 times now across on console, and when you've switched to PC, it really hasn't affected your ranking too much. I mean, coming in at #5 right now is seriously impressive. Your first proper split on PC, so congrats for that. But in regards to your legend choice, what makes you choose Octane?
For the most part, he like fits my playstyle the best, and I think like for me it's kind of tough. I'm not like a hard IGL that's like we have to go do this and that kind of thing, but like when it comes to like a lot of the choices we do, like jump pads, or that's how you move in and out of fights all the time. So the person making the calls should be on that, I think, for the most part.
Especially in the current meta, definitely Octane helps transport the whole team around the map, and it feels like if you're going into a fight, 90% of the time it is going to be with a use of a jump pad to help you get in there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
And then there's also the other part of like Octane's playstyle where like there's so many people that do play Octane and they'll play it like way too much like Pathfinder, where it's just kind of like I'm using my jump pad just for myself kind of thing. Whereas like I try to be like a lot more cautious with it and save it more so for the teammates kind of stuff. Like I haven't been playing with a Gibby on the team too much lately, but like saving pads to like transport a Gibby all the time or mid fights and stuff is like really huge.
Definitely gives those characters way more mobility than they have, and obviously that's one of the main downsides to playing a Gibraltar or someone like that, is the fact that they can get stuck out in those open fields and those tough spots sometimes. So having an Octane there to help shift them out of a tough spot can be really good.
Yeah, being like a support Octane basically.
Yeah, for the whole team rather than just himself. And I think that is one thing a lot of Octane mains can learn from the better Octane players and the kind of competitive ranked Octane players, is that Octane offers now with his new jump pad a lot more for the team than he used to. And obviously that's why he's come into the meta so much more. But talking of changes to Octane, did the nerf to his passive, which makes him take 20 damage off of every stim. Did you feel the change too much? Are you stimming less? Are you stimming more? Like, how do you feel that nerf affected him?
I mean, like, and sometimes, like, I've stimmed quite a bit more just so I know that I can stim again. Like, when it's, like, late game, you need, like, purple or red armor. But early game is definitely detrimental. Like, if you have white armor and you're stimming, that's so rough sometimes. You gotta be careful, like, what weapons they're using. Like, if it's a sniper you're going against and you stim, it's like, oof.
Yeah, I mean, you take a big chunk of damage and you stim, and all of a sudden you're, really, really weak, and they're gonna easily kill you. So I mean, it comes with its pros and cons, I guess, because you can stim infinitely, but at the cost of a lot of health. But it's interesting to see that he stayed in the meta even after that change. Do you think he needs any more changes? Do you think he needs a nerf slightly, or do you think he needs any changes, or do you think he's healthy where he is?
The biggest thing for me is the lack of audio on jump pads, because it happens all the time. Like, at least a couple teams per match is just nobody can hear a jump pad, and you get third party to die off of it.
Yeah, and I think that's a
especially
problem.
with the combination of like Rev Totem.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that's actually leads nicely onto another question I have. But I definitely think the amount of jump pads there are and the amount it happens, you're gonna notice it a lot more. And I know that's something that is being worked on, but it's definitely noticeable in those higher ranked lobbies for sure when you've got good teams padding on you. But what I was going to say, it leads on nicely to the question I had about, which legend do you really hate fighting against? I think I'm going to know the answer to this, but like in ranked, obviously this season, there's been a lot of different playstyles. I think it's for the most part, we're seeing a lot more legend variety, and I was wondering if in and amongst that, you've actually seen a legend which you really don't like fighting against, especially in those higher tier lobbies where you're playing against good teams.
I think for the most part, everybody can agree now, Rev is like plaguing pred lobbies, but it's just, I could complain about Rev for so long. I've never liked the whole mechanic of like a free life for people to do whatever they want, and it's just like, especially like for teams that don't want to put a lot of thought in and just like jump pad full send, they just grief themselves half the time and you, or run away instantly. Just really annoying.
Yeah, I agree. I think the issue for Revenant is a lot of players that have gained RP through the Revenant plays. Unfortunately for them, when Rev does eventually inevitably drop out of the meta, which he will, because legends always come and go, I feel like these players are going to suffer because they're going to be lacking the game sense they maybe would have built up from all of the time they're putting into playing with other legends.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're doing it without thinking with Revenant, and I definitely think Octane is the enabler legend for Revenant right now, with his jump pad. If Revenant was to see any changes, a totem range would definitely fix that problem. Talking of legends though, you played a lot of Octane, but also I know you like Loba, and I've seen you play Loba in pred lobbies before when I've played you, but not too often. Do you think she's close to becoming a meta or viable legend, or if not Loba, then which legends do you think are close to coming into that sort of meta range of really being usable in those pred lobbies?
Like, Loba is like an awkward part where like buffing aside from her bracelet, she's already pretty strong. Like, it's been so many games where you just drop the ults down late game and pick up so many frag grenades or arc stars, and that's like having your own little airstrike for the whole team, or getting batteries off bodies that nobody can loot, stuff like that. Like, she's easily playable right now. It's a little awkward in the Rev meta, but I mean, like, the past couple of seasons I've played her quite a bit in ranked.
I definitely think she is at that point where she's ready to come into the fold, really. I think we saw her in competitive a lot in the EU ALGS recently, where a couple of teams were running her and had a lot of success. I think when people give her a chance, they can see a lot of good things come from playing Loba. I think she offers a lot to the team. especially with her bracelet buff recently. She's definitely got a lot more movement capabilities for sure.
When people think about loba too, they like really undervalue like how much or how helpful it is to reposition without being shot. Like Pathfinder grappling, they usually get hit for like 50 damage or so at least. Her instant teleport to like angle people out is so strong.
Definitely in the hands of a good player can be used really effectively, and if you put the time in to learn loba, I'm sure a lot of people would actually enjoy her a lot more. But the last question I actually have for you, and I appreciate everything you've talked about today. It's great to have an insight from a really top player. You've played with a bunch of different people on your way up to the top 5 of Pred on PC. I can imagine you played with tons of people along the way, but for those of you who maybe watching the video, they don't have a lot of people to play with and they're looking for that ranked team, when they find people, what is it that makes a team work? Like, what is it that when you find people to play with, you think, I like playing with these guys, I want to play with them more? Or you know, what is the winning aspect to a good team?
It can definitely be pretty tough. I think for me, like key parts are like the vibes, where it's just like, I don't know, like if you're not like kind of like friends with each other, like having that kind of feel, you're just gonna like, it's a very frustrating game, especially in a ref meta. But making sure that like nobody's getting tilted is so huge. And then when it comes to like actual playing wise, like independent like gun skill and positioning and stuff, like it's of course good, but for me the most important thing is comms. Because as long as we can like stay like close to the same page, that's pretty much the best you can ask for.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree on the point of being friends with each other. I find when you go through an LFG or find people to play with, if you're just there for the game, tensions can run pretty high if things don't start going well. But you know, if you make friends with people and you're just generally nice to each other, the vibes, as you say, are just going to be better in general. And I've always said, you're always looking to make friends, not just ranked teammates. So I love that sentiment. I completely agree with that. And like you said, with comms, just, you know, comming everything is better than comming nothing. And I totally agree that as long as you're all on the same page and you can all kind of make decisions together, it's going to go better for you than if you have kind of people off doing their own thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I really appreciate the chat today. I love the insight on Octane and the higher tiers of ranked. It's been great. And as you know, Awesome Tryhard does stream on Twitch. His links are in the pinned comment. You should definitely check him out. I'm often in his stream. I really enjoy watching him. So make sure to drop a follow and maybe even a sub. Guys, that's been Awesome Tryhard. I really appreciate you for coming on. Thank you.